All right. Sorry about that. Internet's going in and out. I don't know what's happening. Hopefully, I know I paid the bills, so apologize for bouncing off there. I think I paid the bills. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna use some of this. This is just A&D. So I use it for a couple different things. I use it as the potion to knock down some inflammation while I'm doing the tattoo. I also use it to hold down my little top hats. Um, don't really need a lot, tell you that. But yeah, hopefully the internet connection still stays on. That would be nice. All right, Trusty Black, guys, you guys get all of the action today. Most of the time, I have this stuff already set up, but it's been a while, and I kind of ran out of my groove. So yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5, 6. 1, 2. Making a little bit of a wash as well. Try not to use any white, um, but I've got a black. Yeah, no, I had the connection issues. I dropped off. You guys are good. I don't know, like I don't know if it's too many devices, one little router, and I'm doing this on Wi-Fi. I don't know, or it could be, I've had some issues with cable. I think last week they're doing some maintenance type work or something, or installing some new kind of cables or something around the neighborhood. It's kind of intermittent that whole week. So, oh well. All right. I got one last little step here. I buzzed my leg, but I didn't actually shave what it is that I'm going to be working on. Um, so I actually shaved quite a large area. I'm not going to work on all of this tonight, but I want you guys to know I do plan on finishing up the snake sometime in the near future, or the snakes. I do have some scarring, so I won't be able to use, because stupid me trying to use white ink is just a terrible idea unless it's a highlight or unless it's on all black. So I'm going to have to go in and find some pigment, even if it's a low pigment for the whiter snake. You guys will see what I'm talking about. But today I'm going to be working on my son's initial, the letter E. Yeah, I know. It's like Sesame Street. But I redid my daughter's I redid my daughter's initial a few weeks ago. So just a comparison, I can go ahead and pop them both up. So you can see this is a little bit, yeah, this is a little bit darker. It's got some better definition than what it had before. I think what happened was I was just going too light, kind of afraid of the pain, if you will, on this one. So on both of them, actually, I just haven't had a chance to get back to this leg because I've been worried about snicks. So you can see, like, the white, it shows up as kind of yellow on the screen. It's not that bad, but I've got a couple of spots where uh, the ink actually, like, I just overworked the skin. So I don't know how much pigment will actually hold to that. So I'm going to try to find a way to, just to work this into where I can finish it up and it read as two snakes. Um, and, the black snake is probably, maybe 40-50% done. So just to let you guys know, like, how much work actually has to be done to these. The trick is, for me, it's going to be not overworking it. Give me just a second. Realized I didn't have my side light set up. Very important, so that I don't have fighting, conflicting, light points while I'm trying to get this done. So I'm just going to stir up my washes a little bit and then get started. So today I'm going to be using my newer pen style type of pen. It doesn't hit as hard as the other pen or the other machine that I have, but it does a pretty good job whenever it comes to just being able to control the fills and stuff. So I'm going with a fairly, I don't know, I could probably go for a smaller liner. Problem with smaller liners is that, you know, they're a lot more visible whenever you make a mistake. However, I do have some pretty small liners in here somewhere. Yeah. So this is a 3 liner. This is tiny. It's very small, if you will. And then I also want to use probably, I don't know if I have, like, I'm not running out of needles, but I'm running out of needles. All right, so here's a 5 shader. This is probably my last 5 shader, but that's okay. So that's just to, go in and do some of the fill and some of the shadows and stuff like that. And again, like my other initial that I did, letter G, I originally, pretty early on in this journey that I've been on, I would do a stencil, and so I'd find the stencil, I would draw it out on paper, or I would find an image, modify it, draw it out on paper, make it work to the right size, manually put it on, under tracing paper, trace it out over carbon paper, apply the stencil to my knee, and chuck everything. And so I would just go with what's on the stencil, and I wouldn't have a reference. And that's kind of a, that's kind of a bad mistake. But I was ignorant, so whatever. I learned. Um, this is one of those things where I'm sure, like, somebody could be like, "Well, you should get an apprenticeship so that you don't make such stupid mistakes." I'm learning, right? It's okay. But I have a reference. It's a big reference. There's a lot going on this, and I'm just sticking to the actual letter E that's in this. So I'm not doing all the, this kid off to the side riding a donkey, wolf or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is that they do in Germany in the 15th century. They probably did ride donkey wolves because why not? They're German. I'm German. Put my 3-year-old on a donkey wolf. Hmm. Very cool, Germany. Very cool. All right. So anyway, thanks for showing up. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not done yet. I gotta poke myself a lot with needles first. And I'm using 2 different brands of needle again. Actually, no, this time they're the same. That's awesome. So I bought like a bunch of, like, really cheap, uh, not great, but membraned needles, um, from Amazon. I got, like, I want to say it was like 60 different, like 5 packs of 60 different, needles or whatever. So got quite a few of them. And I didn't pay a whole lot of money, but I was also using what I had from my previous stock, and it was a completely different company. So for whatever reason, even though the cartridges fit, they they didn't actually. I don't know. I won't say. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to say. They just, like, their throw would be different. Like, I would put one in, fully zeroed out on the pen or whatever, and it would be like thrown out like 3 millimeters, like, and then I'd put the other cartridge in, and it would barely be thrown out at all. So whatever, tis what it tis. So let's see, back off just a little bit. I think you guys can see that pretty good, I believe. And Germany do be lit because that's where, like, all those crazy stories come from of, like, gingerbread house witches and, like, werewolves eating grandma, like Little Red Riding Hood or whatever. I mean, so many of those stories, like, originate from there. Even like you know, I don't think Cinderella did, but Snow White did. Yeah. Yeah. Little girl eats a poison apple, dies, preserved in a glass coffin. To some prince comes up and assaults her. Everyone lives happily ever after. Completely German. All right. Anyway, sorry. Uh, So sometimes what I do is I'll take a piece of, like, some of my, look, I'm losing words. So excited. Um, no, some of this paper towel, and I'll barely, like, I'll fill up my ink, and then I'll just kind of tap it off, because I know what's going to end up happening is, I'm going to have a length of knee that's, or a length of knee, a length of my tattoo that is just not going to show up correctly. Sorry, got to put my reference upside down. Okay, so this is a very small needle, super small needle, and that's got some good points to it, and it's got some not so great points to it. The not so great is that whenever I make a mistake, notice I said whenever, it is very easy to see. One thing I have been doing is, I don't have a whole lot of money to go and spend on, something like pound of flesh, fake skin that's, the ultimate in fake skin, or real skin, or one of those really good practice skin kind of things. So what I do have, though, is for, my birthday, since I've been doing a lot more art, not just on the tattoo side, but on the drawing side. My wife very graciously gifted me the perfect thing. Got one of the newer iPads with the newer pen or whatever, and I have done so many, like, little searches to try to find out what other people, that are interested in tattoos or just drawing in general, like, what are they doing? Like, how are they doing some of the things that they're doing? And yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I've been using it a lot to kind of practice some of my technique, I guess. It doesn't amount to real skin, like, it's still not the same as your actual skin. But it works out okay. It's really becomes almost like this meditative kind of device. This goes up and over here. So yeah, I'm just going over this thing again. It's been kind of a shock, like, just looking at it, seeing some of the stuff that I missed originally. Um, and things that I intended to show that just didn't, they didn't come through. Like, there's some sneaky little things in this cool little that I'm doing. This one part right here that I'm spending so much time on is actually, there's like a hidden, like a hidden little brownie face or something, some kind of, you know I won't say it, like a demon or something like that, but, like something with some power behind it, besides just a little a little for all of our fun, I guess. So some of the hardest things for me to do. This is kind of crazy too. I realize that I have a lot of imagination whenever it comes to things that are imaginary. That sounds weird, but hear me out for a second. What I did realize is like a trick to getting a straight line or a fluid line is looking just slightly ahead of where it is that you're drawing to assume that you are going to stay on that position. So essentially, your needle will follow your eyes. That seems pretty legit. Now here's where I get where I don't have a lot of imagination, like true imagination, is because whenever the needle is slightly behind my hand and I can't see where it is that I'm drawing, I just go completely off course. So I don't have enough imagination to really like define some of the areas that that I'm trying to draw to, if that makes any sense. So so I come up with some pretty crazy looking crap where it should be like a super straight line or something, and it's like super not. So but yeah, just trying to get the lining all worked out proper. Coming back in on this side of things, it's a little bit different. Yeah. So I am making I mean, these are very small passes I'm doing here, in the hopes that I don't make a lot of mistakes while I'm doing this. People make mistakes. And I think one of the mistakes that I run into quite a bit is it's just going way too light, or using too light of a needle. And here I am, like making this mistake again, I guess. But at least I'm not using white, right? That's important. So I am using this very small thing. What's up? Yeah, yeah, it is, especially whenever your leg is so weirdly shaped. I mean, not just mine, like anybody's is weirdly shaped. It really is. Um, and that is it's okay, I guess. Like you just kind of get used to it, I suppose. Um, let's see, how did I do this the first time? It looks like I actually deleted part of the design out for some reason, and that's fine. Continue on with it and get it nice and put in there, nice and black. Go back and fix what we can. And also in the shading process, things will look a little bit different as well. So that's good. So this comes down. This is like a weird little flourish that happens in this area. Comes down, and then there's like this tiny little spot that joins up right here. I'm kind of talking it through myself, and I'm also trying to talk it through like Bob Ross because that dude was awesome, and he was not a tattoo artist, but he was still really damn cool. So let's give it up for Bob Ross. And this somehow there was like this little flourish that happened Put it way down here. Okay, it's fine. This is cool. Finding out approximately where I put awesome some flourish. Yeah, right there. This one comes like this. Sweet. So I will have some nice shading to do on this thing. This flourish comes out here. It's gonna be really difficult. It's really difficult to make these little tiny lines. I swear, man. This is also kind of good practice. I have some really tiny lines I'm going to be making in the future, and so this is kind of good practice for those as well, I suppose. Just put a little bit of this on there. Yeah, no, I would, man, I would pay top dollar. Like, I would seriously like save up money and go get a Bob Ross tattoo if he was one getting it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't deny that he probably would have been the best of the best for that type of experience. I don't know why my dog is like right under my feet. I'm assuming maybe she thinks that I dropped something. Did I drop something? Drop my pride. Oh, so there'll be a little bit of shade there. And then this kind of comes up right about here. Starting to take a little bit of shape. Yeah, man. Welcome, Turkey Noodle. Back for a bit. Came in yesterday, day before yesterday. Yesterday. Yeah, we came in on Tuesday, but it was kind of late, so or wasn't. Oh, we came back on Wednesday. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, uh, there wasn't enough time to really unpack everything mentally, emotionally, and uh, and get right into it as far as work was concerned. And this is kind of, it is. I think it's kind of like it's good labor. It's not work. You know what I mean? Anyway, before I mess this up for myself by calling it work, but I just don't for a second. Got some really cool little tiny things going on here. I didn't even wrap my machine, like just straight up got the rubber bands showing and stuff. I didn't do anything. Yeah, yeah. I even watched his son. I don't know if you remember, like there was like a time where it seemed like they were grooming his son as like a replacement for him, and it just got more and more factual that you cannot replace Bob Ross. Like his son might have had cool hair too, but just wasn't. He just wasn't his dad. You know? Sorry, sorry. Point out the truth. He just does some weird stuff. It's kind of cool though. I'm just gonna start off down here. way. Journey. So I'm actually trying to put in some of the dimension that I lost last time too. So there'll be a little bit more movement in this one than what was originally shown. Sounds kind of weird, but I need it there because that's part of part of why I chose this design was this extra little movement of sorts. Stop bleeding. I want to see what it is that I'm working with. All right, cool. Little leaf that I had to take out. It was like right about here. Came back in like this, then followed this. So that would be somewhere right around there. So I used to skip school. Big surprise. Um, but surprising thing was that when I did that, oftentimes it would be so that I could watch Bob Ross. And there was like another drawing program that came on like right afterwards, I guess, or right before. And it was kind of lame in a sense, but it's also pretty cool because it was like, this is how we draw castles. And I'm like, oh, drawing castles, bro. I drew castles in class so much after that because I learned there was like a formula for doing a parapet or whatever. And there was a formula for just like all kinds of crazy stuff. It was nuts. Like draw these mechanical shapes. Draw this. Now put this on there. And all of a sudden, you know what you have? So trying to make sure that the ink actually goes in instead of this instead of just cutting me. Because that's lame when that happens. Right? So this cutoff should be actually right about here. Now I have some pretty dark washes to mess with on this, but I think I'm gonna go with like the one of the medium ones that I mixed to start off with, so that I can keep as much of this tiny little detail. This actually is like really kind of weird, got some knot kind of stuff going on. Not really Celtic knots because that stuff, I don't even think a lot of that stuff had been found yet by the time this guy was doing his work. Um, and again, it's a German, Austrian actually, but whatever. Who's, you know, So weird, kind of weird knot work going on in there. Um, there's like some weird, like amorphous kind of shapes that make up a different weird little face down here, but it's not very apparent that that's what is actually going on. So I'm not going to be too obvious about it either, if that's the case, right? I mean, if somebody wants to look that close, they totally can, but I really just want to know it's there. I don't think anyone, I haven't invited anyone to, get so close. Ah, man. Um, talk about timeline, right? Um, yeah, I don't know, man. It'll have to be sometime. It'll have to be sometime soon, I think. Like, um, just logistically, like, I can't wait. This weekend. uh, okay. The boss said. The boss has said it'll be this weekend. How did this go? There's like this tiny. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up there. And so this comes down like this. Sorry, I left out a lot of these details while I was working on this. Just trying to get, not trying to get it done really, but like trying to get it to a place where, you know, I could be like, oh, okay, yep, that's complete. And it's really, it's not. Well, I put in there, I don't know if you can see, but like here's a nose. There's like a squint, like the squint, and then like right here, like a kind of an eyeball shape. So you'd have to get pretty close to see it, I think. It's like it's looking down. I think this is where its mouth would be. It's kind of like a gargoyle esque face. Its weird nose. The brow comes in and then goes into this eye. It doesn't hurt that I, put anything in there. Big stunning as you, bro. Trust me, she does. She has your best interest. I'm gonna put it on the schedule. Everything will be fine. All right. So this got a little weird, and it's okay that it got weird, but I really need to kind of like straighten it out a bit. I'm going to move this down. So you can already see like, yeah, this is fresh ink, but this is a very small liner and it's already looking a lot darker, right? Like it's already starting to take some shape a little bit better than what it was before. And that's kind of, I mean, that's really it's the best that I could hope for. Um, in the sense that I'm still having to add to this. So that being said, we are we're going to round this out all the way up here. It seems like I did that on the bottom uh, ornament of the E, but I didn't really go all the way up to that top ornament. And that's just a shame because there's some good stuff to be had by doing it, with a little bit more round shape thrown in there, as opposed to, putting it all smushed up like I had it. And also, like, I will be using better aftercare than what I did before as well. You'd think since like this is already here, it would be like easier, but essentially, like, this is kind of like doing a cover up of a design that wasn't really thought out very well. Like, I mean, this could have been so much cooler if I had just taken a little bit more time on it before I started, you know, actually putting it in my skin. That's fine. It's kind of cool because it still gives me, some space to work with and some additional fading and stuff like that. With all of this over here, it's going to be much darker. I can go ahead and make sure that this black is saturated. I don't know if you guys can hear me or if I'm just mumbling into my knee. Hopefully, hopefully you can hear all right. And it's been, it has been a minute since I've done this, and I was kind of scared, I'll admit. Like, right whenever I started the machine up, I was like, maybe this hurts a lot more than what I remember, Maybe my pain tolerance has gone down since, since the last time I did this, but it's fine. I've heard a lot worse. Been in a lot more pain. Weird. Mm, I've been my knee again. Sorry. Getting the an odd angle to work, both with the legs stretched and with it uh, pulled up like this. It's still a little bit rough to work with. Definitely did myself dirty the first time I did this. Trying to come up with some solutions for some of the problems that I created in doing so. Be pretty fantastic. I like solving problems though. Kind of cool. Let's go. To have this thing. So, there, there. So what I was saying too about the iPad, I got some custom made brushes uh, that are specific to like people that are trying to design tattoos or whatever, and they are unforgiving. Like the slightest wobble, the slightest movement outside of like a regular uh, outside of a regular line, smallest movement, and it just totally betrays your ass. Like it's just completely okay with making sure that whatever it was you thought you were going to draw is just not there. It's just wobbly as hell when it comes down to it. Getting there, guys. I am getting there. I know this, it should be a lot, should be, let's stay away from should. It could be a lot quicker with somebody who, you know, was paying a little bit more attention to their hues, I guess, of the tattoos. Oh, I've been tattooing for 5 or 6 years, or even 2 or 3 years. Guess what? Those bros are really going to tattoo circles around me whenever it comes to time in a lot of cases. So even though this is a small, like, should be pretty easy to just kind of bang it on out and move on. I'm taking my sweet time this time. Mostly because I mean, it's my son's letter, right? Like I already screwed it up once. Not bad enough to be like ashamed of it. I still wear shorts, right? But bad enough to where I know that he definitely deserves something a little bit more than what just a scribble on the leg. So we'll give him that. And this is something that could be done with the shader right here, but I am just kind of making sure that that line's bold, because it is going to be dark. Like a lot of this is going to be darkened up quite a bit, um, so it won't be quite as noticeable. Maybe it won't be as bold, I guess, because a lot of it's going to be bold. So knowing that makes things a little bit easier, right? I do want this pillar style and these little florets and all that kind of stuff. I want that stuff to read really well. Um, Trying to make things go dark on me, right? Like and not, people be like, uh, what is that? Is that the letter E? Bro, like, I need it to read a little bit better than somebody asking. If somebody has to ask what your tattoo is, like, I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily a sign of a bad tattoo. It's not. Um, there's some really complicated, very imaginative tattoos out there, but this isn't that complicated, or at least it shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, it's the letter, it's the letter E, for crying out loud. So it shouldn't have like a lot of problems with legibility. If that makes sense. Yeah, chat a little bit. Slowly but surely, guys. Moving forward. Clean in here. This actually has a little bit more of a curve to it than what I had allowed when I first did it. It's so apparent that the curve can be there. It kind of gets lost right in this area. And I am like adding some of this stuff so that my hand moves a little bit better, like, around. But also to keep the swelling in an okay level, I guess you could say. It's kind of weird. All of this is pretty weird. There's a lot of like really interesting fitments that I swear, like, H.R. Geiger esque on how they move. Like some things kind of look like money, It's like, oh, it kind of looks like money. But foot's falling asleep. It's like, bro, I haven't even done the interesting stuff yet. Calm down. I'm being like really quiet because this is like really kind of an interesting spot to be in. You know, where I'm doing these little layers here. I am. I gotta get some. I gotta get some blood in this foot. So let's go right here for a second. See what everybody's whatever day this was Thursday. How it was for everybody. Um, I'll tell you, it was a little weird for me. Trying to catch up on master's work and do like group work with that class. It's so dumb. It's ridiculous. And then I got an appointment reminder telling me I got an appointment at 7:30, but they don't tell me with who or where. Uh, so whenever I went to look that up, I had to log on to this completely other new system that told me like who I had the appointment with, but again, not where, just that it was super early in the morning. So I guess I'm going to be missing an appointment. I don't know. Like I really have no idea who it is I'm supposed to meet with. So we'll just pretend that we know what's going on, like we always do, and hopefully somebody will point us in the right direction. Uh, you know, yeah, Eh, man. The problem is people are hurt, right? Like they, they just, they people need medical help, and for whatever reason, it's just not been available. Like for like a year now. Um, like even doctors that were established that I've seen. Um, whoops, sorry about that. Wrong transition there. But even like doctors that I've seen, and a lot of them, like like I know, oh, they're here, they're in it to win it, kind of doctors, and like retiring, getting out, like whatever. I'm just kind of stuck, I guess. They're not doing their crap anymore. Let's see. So I mean, there's one guy who's like, "Yep, I'm gonna be here until I retire." Well, I thought like he meant like actually retire. No, this dude just meant until he got out of the military. He didn't retire, and it's like he didn't even know when he was getting out. Like he was just gone one day, and I'm like, cool. This is this is that awesome healthcare everyone's been telling me about for years now. Like, weird little weird little details in this thing as I go. Um, and just trying to move forward with some of these things. It's like, holy crap, this actually straightens out down here. And I missed this, like I didn't do this part last time. So this E was, it's still awkward, like, and I'm okay with that. Like I chose it because it is like heavily ornamented with really no uh, true direction. That sounds like it fits me pretty good. So once I get the shader going, like that's whenever I can really start shaping some of this stuff too. Like I can do a little bit as far as like laying down the foundation of the lines, but it's almost like sculpting whenever you start adding in that shadow. Um, it gets a little bit more depth to it, I guess. Which is, I mean, I think that's pretty damn cool, honestly. All right, so I drew this as two separate ones, um, two separate flourishes, and I can't tell you why. I think it was just I wasn't paying a lot of attention. I feel like I really ripped myself off on this particular tattoo. And, and the cool thing about it though is that it gives me a chance to kind of go in and reshape it and play with it a little bit. Like there's only so much you can do, right? And it's very true, but I also have the opportunity to just kind of play with the design a little bit more. So I don't even mind doing this. Like if I fuck up your tattoo, like trust me, can't wait to play with it again. You just gotta have a little tiny bit of faith that I'm coming back for you. Make things right. Do it. Promise. Although I don't think I really fucked up any tattoos. I just enjoy doing it way too much to be like, okay, I'm done. That one's done. That one's done forever. One of these tattoos are done. There. We are getting there. So there's one more like kind of weird hidden face in here. Should be like three altogether. This one's kind of a stretch though, so let's see. Let's see how I actually get to it, I guess. I hope some of these small little points that I put in actually show up once once it's all healed and everything. Because some things are just so stupid delicate. That's crazy. Let's see what we got. This whole bro, there's so much that I did not do on this tattoo that I'm just getting back and having an opportunity to actually show. And that's pretty great, I'll be honest. I'm kind of in the way. Forgive me. This is a this is a really hard line for me to draw because it's curved slightly and um, on the bottom. Yeah, it's great. All right. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good line. I'll take it. Setting up that foundation, man. Setting up that foundation. Get it right. And here whole thing starts way the hell up here. All the way down this awesome curve. And apologize for getting in the camera's way. I just need to be able to see the line that I'm actually going after. Oh, I'm playing Destiny, I think. Sometimes that's fun. Everybody does that. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes he gets like so agitated with the game. I get it, man. TVs for my time period, like growing up, a lot tougher than the TVs that we have now. Can't tell you how many times I actually literally threw a controller, but it happened a lot. So this, this is where the other face comes in. And again, like it's not even like a true face so much as it is like a caricature, like gargoyle esque kind of cartoon of a face. This guy, I think he had a lot of imagination and a lot of drive, but I think he was also pushed by whatever would sell. If that makes sense. Like none of these things are terribly original, you know, motifs or anything like that. He wasn't like, it's not like he's a household name, so it's not like he, became famous from his art or anything. Um, didn't happen. Just didn't happen for him. Just about to the point where I can put in a couple of little details here and there. Um, so this one doesn't really have like a eyeball kind of. It's got a nose and a weird little mouth, but right about here, this weird little. It's like this S-shaped strangeness where the shadow kind of went into where its nose was. It's just really odd. I say that it's kind of a face because it is. I mean, but it's got like some facial structure to it, but it's not like he ever like drew definitive face. So it's just like the suggestion of like a weird, I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of weird. Is all I'm saying. Okay, now some of this is just line work I'm going to work on, and that's cool. It's a very fine line. I'm moving kind of quick with it, so not too big of a deal. All right, and there's like just those guidance kind of lines through this. Whew. Oh man, get some blood back down there. I can feel my leg. I can feel my foot. Really loving this new cable. This thing is awesome. Has this spring. It's like it's kind of a lightweight spring, but it keeps the cord from like bending too hard. Um, the cord that came with my first machine was really weak. Yeah, I don't think it's diabetes. I think it's like me being like kind of bent at a weird angle and then also bent at a weird angle. I appreciate you looking out for me. I think, I don't know, it's kind of a weird, I don't have diabetes. That's weird. I mean, maybe I do, but that's not your call, turkey noodle, okay? You can't just give someone diabetes for the fun of it. I'm just putting a little bit of this, like these little, you know, crosshatch and hatch lines in here. Um, and again, I'll go back and do some shading that will actually probably overpower that. Um, but I want to make sure that that dark is actually like it's actually there. Um, that I'm not just messing with it with shading, but also getting a little bit more purposeful with some of these lines, making sure that they show up. I don't have a heroin problem, do I? Unless somebody's giving it to me in my sleep. I've never done that. That's one that I don't think that I'll try. How's that? I mean, there's a lot of things I won't try, but that's definitely on the top of my list of things that I'm not gonna do. This little tiny tattoo, man. Like I put in quite a bit of ink. He's just a tiny guy, you know? Just a little dude. Feel like I'm actually making some pretty good progress with this, in the sense that like actually this might be one of those that I started off as like, well, I guess I'll try to fix it, and it's kind of like no, it's better than that. One I might actually be kind of proud of. Comes down to it. Some of them, it's like you are proud of something, and then you do something else, and you're like, wow, that's so much better. But this one's definitely has some power to it. That's just a little bit different in the sense that it does have all these tiny little things, all these things that I'm like willing to actually like cover a little bit with some shadow outside of just these little hatch lines. But even the hatch lines don't look too bad. It's weird. Hmm. Yeah. That's this thing. Pretty. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Feeling pretty good. It's different. Thought it was going to be. A lot of this tiny stuff that I'm doing is not really going to show up, but it's good to know that I put it in there. You know, just tiny bit of love. Tiny bit. Getting like all out of frame and stuff again. Let's see. Where are we at? Still adding some hatching to a few parts just to have a little clarification on the how the shadow will work. Kind of excited about getting to the shader though. I know there's some spots on here that really pop out once I put that shading in there. Oh, yeah. All right, man. Yeah, I'll definitely I'll send you a picture or something, post it somewhere whenever I get it like uh more done. Um I'm not trying to tap out right now myself, but I can see where this is just way too relaxing to hang out for too long. Cool, cool, cool. Tiny little lines, man. Tell you what, hang it. Tattoo the tip of my finger. All right. And I'm just kind of working my way back up these general directions to see if I can pull in a little bit more of the detail before I go absolutely crazy with the shader and the washes. Yep. My diabetes kicking up again. Can't feel my foot again. It's crazy. Watch out, world. I'm just gonna eat Snickers bars. Diabetes, man. Except I don't want to be fat. Or I want to be fatter. Break this down. Pretty soon, you can actually see what it is that I'm doing. Let me spray this down and we'll start working with the shader. Say workout. Come on, man. I'm trying to be helpful. You know? Yeah. Well, isn't tomorrow? Isn't that whenever the festivities go on post? They do it on a Thursday. It'd be wild. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was tonight. Why would they do it on a Thursday? They won't have tomorrow off. Is it a, I don't even know anymore. Every day's a 4 day something. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. I really don't want that to be that long. I ain't trying to not trying to kill myself. All right. So I'm gonna go with a relatively my medium here. I mixed several, but go with this one. I'm gonna start off with going to definitely like putting on the protection there. Is I muted? That's crazy. My bad. We good? Oh no no no. This one. Okay. All right. So just gonna kind of come in here and just working around the lower this down a little bit. So I'm just kind of working around with the shader, going into some areas that look like they could be a little bit darker, but so coming out from that shading to lighter areas. Doesn't really do much other than piss my skin off. Let's try it again. And just make this a little bit darker. And all I'm doing is kind of, trying to find places that I can hit with a little bit of shadow just to show some of those areas that do have some better highlight. I'm doing this a little haphazardly, um, not terribly like not super loose, but what I don't want to do is overpower the highlighted areas. Still almost going with that stipple kind of wood grain type shading, and as far as like keeping it in a pattern, but using a wash to kind of add to that, as opposed to like doing a little additive work with it instead of just going in and making it a solid black. I mean, I'm big on black work. I love black work tattoos, but this is definitely more about the shadow than it is about the hardcore thick lines that I really enjoy doing. So and that way, like some of the faces should stand out a little bit better on their own, as if they're slightly carved rather than just wholly like hanging out there for no good reason. Um, this area right here probably be darker. I should this right on this area. How around the eye area of that weird face. So you can kind of see like that little facing there a little bit better than what it was anyway. And that's I mean that's a goal. Definitely want. I'm touching a tattoo. It's already there. I definitely wanted it to be better than when I first started on it. I know that should be a given, but I agree with that. And so much of the tattoo just fell out. Like, and I think a lot of it was I wasn't sure like what pain level like I should be looking at for what it was I was looking at for needle depth. Like um not definitely not saying that this hurts a lot. It doesn't hurt a lot, but it's definitely you definitely want to put the ink in there so you don't have to revisit it. You know what I mean? Like it's a little tough whenever have to keep coming back to the same tattoo. Like something's fundamentally flawed there. You know, is it technique? Is it placement? Is it design? Like what's going on? What needs to be fixed? And I think for me, it was, I think there's just a lack of experience on how to lay down ink and keep it there, you know? And I have a little bit more experience, but not enough to be like, you know, okay, I'm an expert now, but enough to be like, this is how far the needle should go in. Like the first few parts are like a practice run. You can always come back and check them out later if you need to, blah, blah, blah. And then you make adjustments on the tattoo. And I just wasn't doing that. I mean, I might have made some adjustments. I might have moved forward on some things, but none of it was really terribly compelling in the end. Whenever it came down to it, like it was just, I think I was just trying to get a tattoo done, you know? Just get it finished and move on. And that's fine. But just going back and spending a little bit of time with it, big difference. Actually, like pretty darn close to done with this one, guys. Um, there are a couple spots I know are going to lighten up, and I want to lighten up. Some of these spots, like, they're not showing up as bright white and shiny, and some of them are, and that's good. That variety is really, you want to find a black point, you want to find a white point, and then you want to make sure that your shadows convey those things evenly, for composition, right? Basic, basic composition. Light points, dark points, how to keep it mostly neutral. Area. But I think that turned out pretty good. All right, turn this off. I'm gonna rinse it, see where we stand after that. I don't see a lot of ink pouring out of it. And voila. Much better, much cleaner than what it was before. So, just gonna put some more balm on there. Let it do its thing. And yeah, pretty happy with that. Yeah, I do like that. I think that looks pretty good. Thank you. So there we are, doing the things that we do. So that was Thursday. Look at that, I did a thing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, probably not. Monday, I don't know. I mean, it is a 4 day, so we'll see. Right? Thanks. It's a nice E. I just gotta get everything like on the same playing field. So I appreciate you guys showing out, and Edmund and Elvis and Ermine and did you say Edgar? Uh, Emus, elephants. Haven't seen any more E, so I'm going to take that as a good night. Yeah, that's how my brain works. I can do that. I just can't do normal things. Anyway, I will see you guys hopefully on Monday. If not, I'll definitely shoot some stuff out. All right, man. Good night, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for showing up.